Hey, hello. We're recording. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is very exciting because this is my first video for my YouTube channel called Look Out Lizzie. Drum roll. Okay, so why am I doing this? Why Look Out Lizzie? What is this all about? What is it for? You might be asking. Basically, I've decided to create my own YouTube channel to talk about my life all the way through from the very beginning until this point. Reason I feel this is important is because I've been on quite a journey through my life with self-acceptance, which I think a lot of us struggle with. And I feel it's good to share and impart this to anyone out there who might be lost, who might be struggling, and feel a sense of connection and community, and that you're not alone, because it can feel really frightening sometimes. Big thing for me, which we will talk about, is obviously I'm a curvy girl. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there at the moment about curvy girls and losing weight and gaining weight and all sorts of things. But there is a huge pressure being female and being curvy. And there's nothing I can do. I can't change anyone's perception on it because it's so ingrained. It really is ingrained. But what I feel I can do is really share what it is like to be a curvy girl in today's society and today's world, and the struggles it comes with. And also, I think if I share you my story as to kind of why I am curvy, yes, genetics and slow metabolism and everything, but also the psychological reasons as well. So it's not only about weight. That's just one aspect that I'm giving you. But the kind of, I suppose, the stimulus as to why I feel I have to create my own YouTube channel and share it with everyone. And being so personal, that was the kind of motivation behind it. So there we go. So first video is going all the way back to the beginning, when I was born. When I was born, I was apparently I was like a very red purple blob. And when my brother first saw me, he was a bit like, meh. He wanted a brother, apparently. He wanted a brother to play cricket with him. And then apparently when he saw me, he fell in love with me, is what he said. He was kind of amazed. I was just apparently this big red purple blob. But apparently I was smiling. Apparently I did come out smiling, which is nice. And I also had violet eyes, apparently. I had purple eyes. Yeah, like Liz Taylor. They didn't last, did they? Never mind. C'est la vie. But that's, nice, isn't it? And then when I was 7 months old, I had my first asthma attack. So I forgot to say, actually, the title of this video is Asthma. It's called Asthma. That's what I've called it as a first topic. So 7 months old, I have my first asthma attack. And it was my mum that noticed. My mum is asthmatic and her dad was asthmatic, so it's in the family. Apparently I was in the cot and mum noticed I was struggling to breathe. I'd gone a bit pinky purple and whisked me straight off to A&E, and they said, yeah, she has asthma. So I was born with asthma. It wasn't from pollution, it wasn't from external factors, it was handed down to me. So I was born straight away with asthma, and at the age of 7 months I was put on steroids from 7 months. So I think asthma plays a huge part in my life as well. It's always been there. It's like a rock that I've carried throughout my life for so many reasons. Like, it does affect exercise and sport and keeping up with everyone. You're always the first out of breath, and so many factors get to you, like the cold and all your hay fever and certain animals and all kinds of things. You're so sensitive to everything, but also you're just weaker in your lungs. You just, yeah, it's a really hard condition, and it is dangerous. It's more dangerous than people realize. Asthma is a very, very, if you're in an attack scenario, it is really frightening. And I have had life and death, I've had a near death experience with it, which we'll come to later on in my journey. But yeah, so 7 months, I have asthma and I'm pumped full of steroids. Hooray! The hilarious thing about it is we were flying off to New Zealand, I think in like 3 days' time, because my parents are Kiwis from New Zealand, from near Wellington. And with Dad's job, we used to go back every Christmas. We're so lucky, we used to go back every Christmas. So anyway, determined as he was, I had the asthma attack, pumped full of steroids, and we still went on the plane all the way to New Zealand. And I think we were there for literally, we arrived Christmas Day or something, or Christmas Eve. So we were like in the nick of time. But yeah, the reason why, I'm just going to round up now, why the first chapter is called Asthma is because from a health perspective, that has played an enormous part on my body. Physically, mentally, in terms of medication, like a 7-month-old baby already being pumped full of drugs. And like I say, asthma is tough. It's a tough thing. And it affects everybody differently, of course. You see footballers on the television. I always go, oh, wow. They're like running around and then they're on their inhaler. And then today, it's so amazing, actually, and how coincidental this is. I had my first kind of a sort of bad asthma experience this morning. So I did a workout with Deminda, who is my wonderful personal trainer. We were in the park. It's very cold. And halfway through, I'd been doing running and all sorts of things. And then halfway through, I said to him, I have to stop. I just can't breathe. It's just too cold. My lungs are just... So he said, stop what you're doing. Take your inhaler. And I was thinking how extraordinary that happened, and that my first chapter is asthma. That is literally my first video and my first chapter of this adventure of my life story is asthma. And then I have this sort of near attack this morning. It's funny. And so the other thing about it is it's going to be there for life. It's been there for the whole of my life, and it's going to be there forever. So it's something I'm just going to have to continuously live with. And also the other thing, being asthmatic, as I was saying, I'm going round and round here. You see footballers taking their inhaler, but they keep going. They persist, even with this condition where your lungs are like, they never give up. They keep pushing. And that's the thing, I think, for me, that I've always had to do with my asthma, is I've always had to keep pushing, even when I'm nearly having an attack, or I've had an attack, or, I'm a 7-month-old baby and I still go on the plane. Like, I think my parents and maybe my mindset is I have to just keep going. That even though I have asthma, it's not going to defeat me. I'm going to just push through. I've got so many memories. Like my best friend Moni, lovely Moni, has this memory of me, which I'd forgotten about, where we were at school. We went to St Mawes in Weybridge, and I jumped into a cold swimming pool. I must have been 5 or 6, I think. I was quite young. And I came up, and I can remember when she was reminding me of the feeling of like coming up for breath and like all the lungs seizing. And Moni remembers it because she was terrified. I think if you're a kid watching your friend jump in a pool and then they can't breathe, it's terrifying. So it's always been there. And it's also that other people have seen it and seen me go through it from a young age. But as I say, I've never given up. I've always persisted. Like even today, when I had this near kind of like asthma experience with my personal trainer, I still kept going, still kept pushing. I took the inhaler, we waited for a bit, and then we did slightly more like lighter exercises, but I still kept going with it. So for me, having asthma and starting with asthma as like my first video, I think is really important, because it is the beginning of weight gain, pretty much. Why losing weight is so hard. why I am the kind of shape I am. And living with it, living with a condition that you've always had to live with. Like, there's so many people out there who live with so many different conditions that they're born with, or they suddenly get, or whatever. But it's a condition that's forever. It's forever and ever and ever. I always have to carry my inhaler with me. I can't be without my inhaler. I came back and I said to my partner, "Oh, I had a near asthma attack today." And he was like, "Oh, did you have your inhaler with you?" I was like, yeah, I had my inhaler. So it's constant. But I keep going, I keep persisting, and I will always just keep persisting, even if I have to make things slightly easier for myself, like with exercise and things like that. I have to really watch it. We're in lockdown at the moment in the UK. I love swimming. Swimming is something I really enjoy. It's actually very good for asthmatics. It helps with the lungs and everything. But I can't swim at the moment because they're closed. So I'm going to keep going with Deminda and exercise. So that's my first video that I'm going to impart to the world. I think the message that I have is persistence is the key, always, with things like this. And for me, asthma is always going to be a part of my life, and I always just continue to push forward through it. And there are times when it's been really tough, and like I say, I'll come to that later on. I had a near-death experience when I was 7 years old with asthma. Quite terrifying. But as a beginning, I think that's a really good place to start, and a really good place to impart the very beginning of my journey, and having to cope with it. Well, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, as they say, and any comments, greatly appreciated. And thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. And have a good one. Okay, take it easy. Bye.